What's going on, everybody? It's going to be your phase 1 guide for Queen. I opted to not really do any kind of fancy animations because the movement is pretty simple in this fight. It's basically just rotate clockwise. Mythic changes here. Toxins, we get 2 on the first set, then 3, then 3. We can't pop the toxins within 1 second of each other, we die. And conserving space, essentially using half of the room in P1 is ideal. If you get hit by a line, hit by a wave, hit by a swirly, those are all one shots, so don't do that. That's going to be a majority of our wipes as we progress this boss, is people dying to random things in P1, so try to avoid those as best as possible and minimize the bulls. As far as the icons go, I have 3 listed here. Stars, essentially what I explained in the fight last night was that the markers don't really matter, but the weak aura will reference it. So they kind of have 3 different names. Star is also the first position, which is also considered outer. So star 1 outer, circle 2 middle or inner for the first set since there's only 2. And then once we start getting 3, it's outer, middle, inner. All right, let's talk about the starting position. I'm going to have the markers actually like this once we're pulling. The web bridge to go to Silken Court is going to be here. So we are starting on this line here and baiting the first liquefy. So you guys already know the drill. Trying to form a nice neat little line to conserve space and move out. Once we bait that, we're going to get our first root set. Again, we try to form a line with the roots and to conserve space. This is the official assignments for how we have our freedoms for the Silken Tomb for the roots. You'll notice that there are some question marks on here, particularly After Dusk and the 2 rogues. Essentially, the second root set is going to be a little tough. So the people that do not have a root break there are going to need to stack closer to the boss and get broken out quickly. So this first root set is this one here. So you can take a look at your pre-meeting or your assignments to not get rooted. After the roots, we're going to get a set of web blades. These are also known as lines. I might call them either as we're going. Again, just live, just dodge. And this is followed by the first liquefy set, or sorry, for the first toxin set, also known as bombs. Again, I might call it toxins or bombs. Same thing. We only get 2 on this first set. What we want to do is kind of leave a little space in between the 2 bombs so we can bait the next mechanic in the middle of the 2. So positioning kind of looks like this. Once that gets placed, we go in stack and ready for the countdown. Countdown on the weak aura looks like this. Poppers are going to do their thing. And once you get popped and put into where the boss is, we're going to get the waves, and then the poppers need to move out. So poppers try to move relative to where you popped, so the outside person can go run forward in front of the boss on the outside, and the inner person go on the inner, etc. Once that happens, we all need to do a loose stack for liquefy and run out. This is followed by a double, this is followed by a root set. This is the second root set. Again, we're forming a line, conserving space. This is going to be the tougher set here with a few people not actually having immunes for it. Once we get all those, we move the boss again and we get ready for the double web blade set. So this entire section is going to look pretty nasty. On the second web blades set here on this little thing, so technically the third web blade set of the fight, but the second one in a row, we're going to get our toxins, and this is the first set that we have 3. There's no really hard assignments on who's supposed to go where. It's just you use your relative positioning to get in place. There's plenty of time to orient yourself. If 2 people are side by side, someone just call out middle or inner, outer, just be communicative. Again, we're going to stack up in those, and we're going to get our bomb pops. And dodging waves during this as well. I didn't animate any waves, but essentially every time we get popped into the boss, we stack under the boss's butt and dodge waves while the poppers go out relative to where they soaked so they can save each other. And now we're going to get basically into one of the hardest parts of the fight. We have web blades and a liquefy at the same time. And essentially, we kind of want to try to dodge the lines back towards the existing poison or towards the outside to save the most space. We are going to get people that are still caught in here if it's safe to drop the liquefies, and that's okay. Also during this, we'll probably assign a roar for movement speed, because once those liquefies go out, we need people to dodge the circles too. And to dodge the circles, you can dodge in, you can dodge wherever you want. As soon as the liquefy actually casts and goes out, you can dodge wherever you want to be safe, just not into other liquefy circles. So this is definitely a tough set to dodge. So that kind of eats up the rest of the available space here into that next line. And what we're going to do is get ready for the last root set of the fight. This is this set here with the timestamp. And then after that, we get into kind of the second tricky part of the entire fight. So there's really only two bad overlaps in P1. It's the one I just talked about with the web blades and liquefy. And then there's going to be at the end of the fight, there's going to be lines into the bombs. So there's lines into bombs into lines, essentially. So after we do the third set of roots, we're going to have lines to dodge. We're going to have to move the boss pretty far here, and then we're going to have the last set of toxins, last set of bombs. And the idea here is we don't want to go any further than these three markers here. We don't want to go any more clockwise than that. We want half of the room for the intermission. So, ideally in this example, I have us even before here, but even if these three people stacked on the three markers, that's totally okay too. So anywhere, on the markers or behind where there's space is going to be the target of that last bomb set. As we're going to pop these, there will be web blades. So this is the overlap set that I was talking about that is very tricky. You'll have to find a spot in your area, your soak, to make sure you're not getting hit by web blades and get ready for the pop. And as we pop, again, everyone's going to stack on the boss's butt and dodge waves, and the poppers are going to go out with their circles relative to where they popped. And that's P1. See you later, gamers.